Good morning, you listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. I'm in Orlando at the Rosen Shingle Creek at the CarpetsPlus ColorTile annual meeting, and I'm with Ron Dunn. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp. It's good to see you, and thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. So this is a big one, this 25th anniversary meeting. So we know what you've been doing for the last 25 years because you co-founded this organization, and prior to that, you spent 14 years at Mohawk, right?
Correct.
So you've got your group here. How many people are at this meeting?
We'll have just over 300 people at the meeting. We've got a few people hung up with the weather right now to hit the United States, but it sounds like most of them are getting in, so we should be at 323 tomorrow.
And that's just out of the membership group, right?
Yes, correct, yeah.
And tell us about the size of this group now.
Well, the way I like to answer that is the size of the group is a big heart, right? Because that's really what we look for. And the group's growing, which is really good news. We're growing in number, but they're growing in volume. In terms of number of members that we have total, we're just shy of 400 members right now.
Okay. Yeah. How many stores does that represent?
468.
So you've been growing. That's interesting. All right. How did your membership do in fiscal year 2021?
2021 was a fantastic year. 2020 was a really great year as well. And then 2021 was even better than that. So we finished the year at 18% up, and it's across the country. Business is just really good right now on all fronts, in the replacement market, in builder markets. There's a lot of momentum in flooring right now.
Yeah. So you say there's momentum. That was going to be my next question. How is the first couple of months of 2022 been? And then more recently, I'm really interested in this, with this European conflict and with fuel prices going up to $4, what has that done to the consumer? Have you felt anything there yet?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was concerned. So the year started off with the same momentum that the year ended, and it hasn't slowed down at all. So I got on the phone before this convention and said, tell me what's going on what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with the world unrest. Are you in inflation? What's happening at the pumps? Are you seeing any slowdown whatsoever? And the answer across the board with everyone who's talked to has been no. That people are coming in, they kind of realize maybe they should buy it now before getting even higher, which is interesting. But people have projects and they want to get them done, and so that traffic in the stores is still very high, very brisk.
That's good to hear. I've heard that once somebody starts remodeling, they do one room and the next room and the next room, exactly. And until they're finished, they just keep moving,
It's
right?
a domino. It's definitely a domino.
So we're down here for a few days. Tell us some of the highlights of what's going on here while we're down together.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's our 25th year, so it's kind of a landmark year. So we're putting a little extra in for enjoyment. We extended it an extra day so that everybody can enjoy each other's company and just celebrate. Of course, as always, we do at our conventions. We had seminars today with various educational seminars, sales training seminars, business system seminars. Tomorrow, we're going to kick off our opening session, and we theme it out all the time. This year, it's Frame That. Basically, the foundation is throughout our lives, whether it's our personal life or our business life, there's been moments in time where we've learned something. Something happened and it was like, wow, that's something I don't want to forget. Frame that. And then it becomes part of your culture. It becomes part of how you run your business, how you lead. So tomorrow we're going to hit on 11 of those type of moments that have formed the culture and formed the leadership style of our company and how we serve and why we serve our members the way we do. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun unpacking that. We're going to throw it at the tables and let them each share a moment like that they've had that's affected theirs. I think tomorrow morning session is going to be something that's going to be really special.
This sounds intriguing. So, a lot of times people just pay $20,000. They have some motivational speaker come in, and it sounds to me like you've really put some thought into bringing this group together and what you're going to talk about together.
Yeah, well, of course, we've done the same thing. Speaking is not necessarily easy. It's not something you want to do. You come to a convention like this, don't want to think about having to speak. But quite frankly, through the years, going out and seeing our stores, getting an RV like we did, and being in the stores brought a lot more relevance to what we bring to convention. Therefore, we started getting away from hiring speakers and really pull from what we're changing and say, here's some things to underscore. These are some practices that are specific for our industry, not somebody that put together a nice speech that you forget about by the time you get home. Well, that's the route we decided to go. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, sounds good. I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to happen tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, yes, right.
I'll be there. That sounds good. All right. What are some of the key initiatives for the group in 22?
Well, one of the initiatives we want to do is encourage each of our stores to think about where they might be stuck. And you grow your business, but there's typically an area that you kind of walk past because you don't want to necessarily deal with it. And maybe you think you can't even get through that. Maybe there's something that you'd like to become, but you're not. And so our challenge to our members is that's a paper wall. You can break through that. And somebody in our group's already broke through that. So let's connect you with who that is. And so we're asking our leaders to amidst all this busyness, to also analyze their business and say, this isn't going to last forever. So how do I shore my business up? Well, let's go back and learn what we learned back in 2009 when all of a sudden it stopped. And then you're like, man, I got to work on my business. So let's work on it while we're doing this and identify what that is. And so it's going to be interesting and engaging and worthwhile endeavor for all of our stores to do that. And so we're kind of in the midst of all that. And of course, on top of that are the new introductions, the shoring up the look, shoring up, picking the best of the best from the suppliers, and asking our members to take those on and bring those in a way that are not cost prohibitive but enhance the showroom.
Are you still doing that RV tour that you used to do?
Yeah, different size.
Oh, you've downsized? Or
We
what?
downsized. You know what I did? We had the big bus, and it's difficult to maneuver, and there's times you get in places where you can't get to. So we got a little Sprinter, a Mercedes Sprinter, and it's better than double the gas mileage, and we can take it anywhere. We more stay in a hotel, but that's what gets us to our stores. You can't really fly because they're all over in odd places, and so so that's what Sandy and I do, and we love it.
Great. Well, that's why you know what's going on, and that's why you can teach, because you're out there seeing what everybody's individual experience is, right?
Yeah, and everybody has a story. And if you get them to tell their story, it's inspiring, it's encouraging, it's educational. And you know what? Very few people will stop and listen to a story. But if you actually, what I found is if I take a camera with me and I say, hey, let's sit down, I want to interview you, kind of like what you're doing with me right now, it forces you, it's like the IQ goes up 10 points as soon as you turn a camera on because they're thinking more. And you pull out some things that are just amazing, and you start putting these stories together. It's a pretty cool quilt that you can make out of all that.
All right, Ron, thanks so much for spending time with our listeners. Again, been talking to Ron Dunn, the CEO of CarpetsPlus ColorTile down here in Orlando, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.